Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into something really fascinating, I think, an often overlooked aspect of global culture, flags. We've got your stack of sources here, articles, research notes, all focusing on some of the world's most, well, unusual and unique flags.
Yeah, there are some really interesting ones out there.
So our mission really is to try and uncover the surprising stories, the hidden symbolism, maybe even some bizarre facts behind these pieces of fabric. Okay, let's unpack this. When we think about what makes a flag truly bizarre, what kind of things jump out from the sources? What makes them stand out?
Well, what's fascinating, I think, is just how much history and meaning can be packed into a single design.
Right.
Flags aren't just, symbols. They're almost like condensed stories, narratives of history, identity, aspirations, and they often have these unexpected details.
Okay.
And bizarre often just means a design choice that really goes against the grain, whether it's the shape, the pictures on it, or the story behind how it came to be.
That's a great way to put it. Condensed narratives. Makes you wonder if the narrative sometimes changes over time, or if people argue about what the symbols mean.
Oh, definitely. Interpretation can evolve or be contested.
Okay, but first things first.
Yeah.
When we talk unconventional shapes, one flag just immediately jumps out from everything we looked at. Nepal.
Yes.
This is the only national flag in the whole world that isn't a rectangle. It's like two triangular pennants stacked on top of each other.
Exactly. Two stacked pennants. And that's not just an aesthetic thing. Our sources really stress that it connects directly back to ancient Hindu and Buddhist traditions.
Right.
And it's a powerful symbol of Nepal's unique sovereignty, too, the fact they were never colonized. It's like a visual declaration of being different, standing apart.
Okay. So from Nepal's unique shape, let's maybe look at a flag that uses pattern in a very unique way. Maybe a bit chaotic. The Antwerp Flag.
Oh, the Antwerp Flag, yes.
Some of our sources were not kind. One called it one of the worst flags in the world. Another said it looked like a chessboard on acid.
Yeah, I can see that. From a design perspective, well, it's memorable, I'll give it that.
Right.
But it's sort of a vexillologist's nightmare. It's got, 24 square pieces, 4 rows, 6 columns.
Something like that. With rules about corner colors and neighbors.
Exactly. And our sources nail it. It basically violates key principles like simplicity and distinctiveness. It's incredibly hard to draw from memory or even recognize from far away.
Right. Imagine being a kid trying to draw that flag.
Precisely. Not very practical.
Okay, sticking with specific instructions. The flag of the Dutch province of Friesland. It's got these diagonal stripes, blue and white.
4 blue, 3 white.
But my eye keeps going to those red things on the white stripes. What are those? Do the sources tell us? They look a bit like hearts.
Yes, the pompledon. Good eye. They are the leaves of the yellow water lily.
Water lily leaves, okay.
And here's really specific that you mentioned. The official instructions are apparently quite emphatic that they should not be heart-shaped, even though, they do look a bit like hearts.
Why so specific?
Well, there are 7 of them, and each one represents one of the historical Frisian sea lands. So it's a very particular historical reference, not just a decorative element, rooted deep in their identity.
That level of detail is amazing. And speaking of history, the Sicily flag. Wow, that one goes way back. Adopted in 1282, apparently.
Incredibly old.
It's got that 3-legged symbol, the Triskelion. And it actually predates the Isle of Man's flag, which looks similar.
That's right.
So what's the story behind that symbol for Sicily? Why 3 legs?
Well, the Triskelion itself is an ancient symbol. You find it in lots of cultures. But for Sicily, the common understanding is that it represents the 3 corners or promontories of the island itself.
Oh, like a map kind of hidden in the flag.
Sort of, yeah. And its adoption back in 1282 was during the Sicilian Vespers, a big rebellion against Angevin rule. So it became really deeply tied to the island's sense of, unique identity and independence.
Okay, so we've seen unique shapes, complex patterns, ancient symbols. But what about flags that put something, really unexpected on there, maybe even controversial?
Right, moving into surprising imagery.
Top of the list has to be Mozambique. It's the only national flag, apparently, with a modern assault rifle on it, an AK-47 no less.
Yeah, that one definitely gets attention.
What's the message there? I mean, it seems quite aggressive for a national symbol. How's that viewed?
Well, the official line is that the AK-47 represents defense and vigilance. You have to remember, Mozambique went through a really long and brutal civil war, over a decade.
Oh, okay. Context is key.
So it's a stark reminder of that recent history, their independence, and maybe the readiness to defend it. But yeah, as our sources point out, it definitely sparks debate globally. What should a nation put on its flag? Is it celebrating conflict or symbolizing the struggle for peace?
Interesting debate. Now, from the very direct, like a rifle, to something maybe accidentally funny, the flag of the North Caucasian Emirate.
Oh, the smiley face one. Yes.
Right. A short-lived republic. Just 6 months during the Russian Civil War.
That's the one. 1917 to 22, somewhere in there, fleeting existence.
And it had this element that looks remarkably like a cutesy smiley face, as one source put it, presumably unintended.
Presumably. It's a fantastic little historical quirk. Our sources don't really give other examples of accidental emojis on flags, but it does raise that interesting point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About how design elements can sometimes take on meanings the designers never intended, or just look humorous in hindsight. Not every symbol is meticulously planned down to the last pixel, I suppose.
That's a good point. Interpretation changes. And that kind of leads into the Bermuda flag, maybe. It connects to its past, but maybe also, kind of ironically, to its modern reputation.
How so?
Well, it's got the British red ensign, but the coat of arms shows the Sea Venture, that 17th century ship.
Right, the one Admiral Summers deliberately crashed on the reefs during a storm to save the crew.
Exactly. Which, when you think about the whole Bermuda Triangle mythos, the island's reputation for lost ships and planes, it's quite an echo, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite the irony, yeah. The founding event involves a shipwreck, and now it's famous, rightly or wrongly, for vessels disappearing. It's almost like the flag accidentally embraces that mystery.
Do other flags have those kinds of, like, perfectly ironic historical links mentioned in the sources?
Not quite as neatly as Bermuda. That one's pretty unique in how the history and the modern myth line up, but it definitely shows how layers of meaning can just sort of accrete onto a flag over time.
Okay, let's quickly touch on a couple more with specific identities. The U.S. Virgin Islands flag, adopted 1921, it uses parts of the U.S. seal.
Right, as an unincorporated U.S. territory. You see the eagle, but importantly, one claw has 3 arrows.
And the arrows mean?
Those represent the 3 main islands, St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas. It's a way of showing the specific geography of the territory within that broader American symbolism. The other claw holds an olive branch, of course.
Got it. And Kyrgyzstan. Very striking visually. Red field, yellow sun.
Very bold, yeah.
But the sun has 40 rays. Is there a reason for exactly 40?
There is, yes. According to our sources, those 40 rays specifically represent the 40 courteous tribes that were united by the legendary hero Manus.
Ah, so it's a symbol of unity.
Exactly. National unity forged from different groups, all radiating from that central sun. Powerful stuff.
Okay, moving into flags tied maybe more closely to specific historical context or identity.
Sure.
Swaziland, or Eswatini now. Their flag was adopted in 1968, right after independence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's based on a military flag.
Yes, that's right. It comes from a flag that King Sopusa II gave to the Swazi Pioneer Corps way back in 1941, during World War II.
And the idea was?
The sources say it was explicitly designed to remind the soldiers of the nation's military traditions, that warrior heritage, a connection to the past, even as they became independent.
Interesting. Then there's the Guam flag, adopted 1948. Dark blue, red border.
The red border was added later, yeah.
But the center has this almond-shaped coat of arms. What's depicted there? How does that connect?
So that central emblem, it shows a proa that's a traditional outrigger canoe sailing in Agana Bay near the capital, Hagonia. And it has G-U-A-M written in red letters.
Very direct imagery then.
Very direct. It's tying the flag right into the specific geography, the bay, the capital, and also that Chamorro seafaring heritage with the proa. A clear statement of their unique place and culture.
And the Northern Marianas Islands, their flag is relatively recent, adopted 1985.
Yes, by their second Northern Marianas Constitution. The original design was by someone named Taga, also in 85.
And the symbolism there?
It's quite packed. The blue field is the Pacific Ocean. The star represents the Commonwealth itself, and then you have that latte stone.
A latte stone.
Yeah, it's a traditional Chamorro stone pillar, part of ancient structure. So again, grounding the flag in both their environment, the ocean, and their indigenous heritage.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Flags of, well, infamy and strong iconography. The Jolly Roger. Most people know this one, right?
Oh, yeah. Instantly recognizable. The pirate flag.
Well, it's basically the generic name for flags used by pirate crews.
Exactly. Though the most famous version, the one everyone pictures, is that human skull over 2 crawled long bones, usually on a black background. Simple, stark, and the message is unmistakable.
A warning. A threat.
And a symbol of being outside the law. Very effective iconography.
And then, probably the most controversial flag in history, the Nazi flag.
Yes. Still incredibly potent, and as our sources state, banned in many countries today for obvious reasons.
Designed by Hitler himself.
Apparently so. And he deliberately chose the colors red, white, and black, intending to link it back to the old imperial German flag, sort of invoking a past glory. But the combination with the swastika in the white circle on the red field, it was designed for maximum psychological impact. Very aggressive, very bold. It became so powerfully associated with the regime and its atrocities that it's inseparable from them.
Absolutely. A chilling example of symbolic power. Lastly in this group, the West African flag.
Yeah.
This one's a bit mysterious.
It is, yeah. The origin is murky. It's often wrongly linked to the Benin Empire.
Wrongly.
Commonly, but incorrectly, yeah. There are 4 known examples, and they're actually in the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich, near London.
And they don't know where they came from for sure.
There's still debate. Did they come from Benin itself, or were they used by forces allied with Benin, like the Itsekiri people? It's not fully settled.
So a flag whose story is still kind of being figured out.
Exactly, which just highlights how complex history and attribution can be sometimes. Not everything is clear-cut. So if we kind of pull back and connect these dots, all these examples, they really highlight how every fold, every color, every weird shape on a flag can tell a story. Sometimes it's a very deliberate story, sometimes maybe more accidental, or a meaning that grows over time. It's not just about what's literally pictured.
Right. It's the shape, the history behind it, the often surprising symbolism.
Totally. And these flags show the incredible diversity in how societies choose to represent themselves, their history, their values, sometimes even their sense of humor or their struggles, which really brings up a big question, doesn't it? What does a flag truly say about who a people are, or maybe who they once were, and how does that meaning stick or change?
That is a fantastic question to chew on. So I guess, what does this all mean after our dive? It means that even something seemingly simple like a flag can be this incredible window.
A window into a nation's soul, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. Or at the very least, a really good conversation starter. We've seen everything from the only non-rectangle flag in Nepal to one with a rifle, one with maybe an accidental smiley face.
A huge range.
So hopefully this encourages you, listening, to maybe look at the flags you see around you with slightly different eyes. Think about the stories they might be hiding. And here's something to think about next time you see a flag waving. If you had to design a flag today for a new country, a new club, even just your family, what symbols would you pick?
Ooh, interesting challenge.
What colors would feel right?
Yeah.
And maybe most importantly, what story would you want that flag to tell about your values, your history, your identity? What arguments would you have at the design meeting? Something to mull over.